G'day! Welcome back to Glenn Cooking with Glenn. I'm the Master Chef and my name is Glenn. Today we are back with another dish. This is one of my favorite dishes. I love cooking this thing. Very simple. It's only about 6 ingredients. Quite simple to make. The longest time is waiting for it to actually cook. So very easy. So let's go ahead and see what we're working with today. So we have chorizo sausage. We have about 200 grams chorizo. So this is like 250, so that will do. We've got chicken breast again, and we're looking at 500 grams of chicken breast. There, yep. We got the Cajun spice blend, the diced tomatoes, real stock chicken, and some rice. Bowl, knife, all of the above. Fun stuff. All of the fun stuff. Right. And if you can't tell by the title, if you didn't read the title, we're making jambalaya. It's a very fun word to say, but also a very fun dish. So, first things first, let's wash our hands. Beautiful. Hands are washed. It's very important, as we determined last video. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and prep our chicken and our sausages, our chorizo sausages, that is. And then we're going to go through it. So, of course, I'm going to put up on the screen all the ingredients and how much you need. And then in the comment section, in the description, I'm going to put the overall comments and how much you need. So let's go ahead and prep a delicious treat. Okay, so we're going to chop up our chorizo. This one, it's not really like any sort of dice. It doesn't have to be cubed. It doesn't have to be this or that. It's just sort of small chorizo chunks. Basically enough to cook in your meal. So I do it about this thick, not that thick at all. It's just a little cube. And then if I want to have more chorizos in the meal, I'll just cut them in half again. So I've done full circles currently. But if I want to have more chorizos in the meal, I'll just cut them into semicircles, which I don't know if we'll do that, but we'll see, depending on how many is left. Okay, so that's one chorizo down. Chop the bad boy off. You could replace, so jambalaya is one of those dishes where you could replace things in the dish if you didn't really like certain aspects of it. So you could put prawns. I know prawn jambalaya is also a thing. So you could have chicken, and you could have prawn and chorizo. You could replace the chorizo sausage with Hungarian salami. I think that would also probably work really well. And even if you want to have not so much of a smoky sort of taste with the chorizo, you could put cheese kranskis or something like that as your dish. All right, so that is the chorizo sausage, all cooked and ready to go. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave them whole. I don't really see any need to make them cut in halfies. So then we're going to get our chicken breast, slap it on the thing, and we want to just basically do small, thin, sort of diced pieces, similar to what we had for the penne. Just smaller pieces of chicken breast as well. Like I said, you could use prawns for this instead of chicken. Prawn jambalaya is a pretty big thing as well. Typically a rice dish, but similar to that of the Spanish dish paella. It is again essentially just chorizo, rice, and chicken again. So, and some sort of spice blend. So it's not that far similar from paella, the Spanish version of this, I guess you could say. Now, I hope you're all enjoying Cooking with Glenn. Episode 1, Creamy Chicken Penne Carbonara. That was the first episode. And This is the second episode of Cooking with Glenn, and this is some jambalaya. Typically, this will make about 4 meals as well. So if you are one of those people that like to meal prep or have lunches and dinners available for you, then this will be good for at least 4 meals from using this recipe. So usually I use slightly more than what it says because it's a lot easier just to buy, as you will see, one of the ingredients is like 3 3/4 cups of something, and it's like, why don't you just use 4 cups, you know? So it makes it so much easier. So kind of the reason why there's more allowance, like more food like available, you got 4 meals instead of only 2, is because like sort of exaggerate the recipe a little bit. So this is about 500 grams, but obviously if you're buying it from the supermarket, when you buy 2 chicken fillets, it's usually about 600. So again, there's a little bit more chicken than the 500 grams that it calls for. And same with the chorizo. It says 200 grams of chorizo, but it's usually 250 if you buy 2 of those 2 sticks of chorizo is usually about 250 grams. So again, you're slightly over what the traditional sort of recipe says. Now, obviously, if you have a larger family or you want more meals or you want to prepare 8 meals instead of this, then just simply double the recipe. And instead of having 500 grams of chicken, you put a kilo of chicken on, and that will increase your total amount of meals. Obviously, increase the rest of the proportions. You just double everything and it will double your meal intake, if you didn't know. And if you want less, because you're only just you and you don't want to have 4 meals, then half it. Put 1 chicken breast, 1 chorizo, etc., etc., and it will reduce your meal size by 2 also. So just chopping up the chicken here is the final little bit of preparation that you really need to do. The rest of it's sort of just the cooking time, so which is fine. Okay, so chicken, chorizo, done. Right, so we're going to whiz this on. Beep. Fancy electric oven. So we're going to put that on and we're going to just let it cook, but it's going to take a while to warm up. So it's about 5 minutes or until the chorizo is starting to turn brown and crispy. So I'm obviously going to wash my hands because I touched chicken and you can see it on my fingers. So that's on. Like I said, you want about 5 minutes of stirring, chorizo turning golden brown and getting like cooked all the way through. So we're going to just let that fry up for a bit and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. It's been about 5 minutes now. I didn't have to add any oil to the pan because chorizo is actually quite oily. So as you can see here, there's a lot of oil in the pan. So I wouldn't add additional oil to the chorizo. That would just make it sort of turn into, you would just get a lot of spitting like when you're cooking bacon. So we're pretty crispy, we're pretty golden brown on some of them. Oh God. So we'll give it about another more minute, just sort of trying to hit all the sides that are still just a little bit plain. You can hear it crackling, which means that it's cooking, which is good. Alright, I'm going to take that off. So you want to transfer it. Get yourself a like one of the pasta ladles that have the holes in it, so that way when you're picking them up, the oil stays in the frying pan. Because we want to use that to cook the chicken. So we're going to take the chorizo off the heat onto a bowl or a plate or something onto the side. Smells good. Cooked chorizo smells so good. Okay. Put the chorizo over here. And then we're going to add our chicken to the mix. So we're going to now cook our chicken. We're going to put our chopping board in the sink because we don't want to use it again. Now our chicken is absorbing all of the oil from the chorizo, and that is why it is like frying as opposed to just sizzling. So now we want to cook your chicken for about 5 minutes. Similar sort of time to the chorizo. As long as it's all cooked through, it's starting to turn a little bit brown. It's really soft. That's when you want to take it off. So I've opted to use the large wok style frying pan again, because we're going to be working with chicken stock and rice, so it's going to expand and it's going to also like probably fill the whole bowl. So I'm using the large wok style pan. I actually enjoy using this pan like as a regular frying pan. Not only are the sides really high, but it just means like when you're stirring and stuff, it doesn't just fall over the side. There's nothing worse than making pasta and like having to clean up the sink, having to clean up the wall, having to clean up the hot plate because all this pasta is slipping out over the top. So it's nice to have the larger wok style frying pan, because then it means when you're stirring and being crazy, you don't have to worry about spilling stuff over the top as much. Now I think I might invest in like a chef's hat. What do you reckon? Leave a comment down below. Do you think I would look good with a chef's hat? Probably not. just a bit of fun, isn't it? I need to get a novelty apron. One of those ones that says, "Kiss me, I'm the chef," or something, you know. Have any suggestions? Leave a comment. What sort of apron should I get? Obviously I need to keep it YouTube friendly. But instead of wearing my MasterChef one, just get a funny one. So unlike the penne pasta, where we drain the chicken afterwards because it's got all this oil in there, you probably don't need to do that for this, because you're about to add rice into your dish, and the rice is going to absorb most of that oil from the chicken anyway, the juices from the chicken. So you don't have to tip it out, because we're about to add chicken stock anyway, which is essentially what's already in the pan. Cooked chicken doesn't really give you any sort of aroma, unlike the chorizo. The chorizo cooked smells so good, but the chicken, not really that good of an aroma. I like cooking when you walk into someone's house and they've been cooking dinner and you go, oh, that smells good. That's when you know dinner's going to be good. It's when you walked into someone's house, take a whiff, and you can smell the dinner just fermenting in the air. If I walk into a friend's place and I smell that, I know dinner's going to be amazing. Okay, so we're done here with the chicken. We're going to take it off the grill. We're going to put it onto the same plate as the chorizo. It doesn't matter, it's all coming back onto the same plate anyway. But we're just going to scoop it all up. So then we can use the frying pan to add our flavor and our rice, and then add everything else back in. So we need to, now reduce the heat from high down to a medium-low heat, because we want to simmer this next sort of portion. So I'm going to turn it down to a low medium heat. And now what you're going to add your spice mix. So this is a Cajun spice mix that you can buy as a pre-made. But if you want to make this spice mix yourself, typically it's salt, paprika, rice, pepper, onion, garlic, chili. So usually you would say like it's got black pepper, cayenne pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, some sort of like, so most of the things that you find in here, paprika, garlic powder, Cajun seasoning. Again, this is just like a little version of it. But everything that you can find into here, you've got onion powder. So everything in here is all basically what you need to make actual Cajun spice mix. But you can buy it in a pre-mix seasoning packet like this, or a packet like this. It saves you having to make it. But it's essentially just blended, all those herbs blended together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our spice mix now. We're going to put it in the pan. We're going to just mix it around a little bit. So it calls for a tablespoon of Cajun spice mix. So that whole bag is probably only really a teaspoon. So we're just going to mix it just to get all the aromas going. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now smell that. Chicken, nothing. This, ooh. Okay. So then you want to add your 2 cups of rice. And when I'm talking about a cup, I'm not talking about this tiny little Elmo cup. Although cool, not good for rice sizing. I'm talking about a measuring cup. And you want to have 2 cups of rice. Slap bang, straight in there. Second one, straight in there. And if you are using Elmo cups, you probably want about 10 of these. You want to stir that through just to get the rice, sort of the flavour all through the whole entire rice. So then it's kind of mixed throughout the whole rice area instead of having just plain rice. So now all the oil is gone from the chicken because the rice has just absorbed it. So you don't have to worry about draining it up. So you sort of just want to stir this around for about a minute until the rice sort of settles in, starts getting a little bit hard because you're putting it on the heat. And then you want to return your chorizo and your chicken to the pan. Again. And give it a bit of a stir. So you're trying to combine all of the rice and chicken and chorizo in together. Now don't be worried and say, oh man, I don't have that much rice in there, because we're about to put chicken stock in there, so it's going to expand. So realistically, if you put 2 cups of rice, the theory is you would use 1.5 cups of water per 1 cup of rice. So if I put in 2 cups of rice, there would be 3 cups of liquid in here to absorb it all. So I've given it a bit of a stir around for a quick sec. I'm going to add the tomatoes. So I've opted to go the diced tomatoes from a can. Obviously, if you're doing this fresh and you want to be authentic, then you will just get cherry tomatoes and you will just dice them up. But I'm using a can. The recipe calls for 425 grams, and this can is 400. So we're pretty much just a few tomatoes shy. A little bit of sauce in the can, a little bit of water in the can to get the rest of that stuff out. Give it a bit of a stir. And then also you want to add your chicken stock. So 3.5 cups chicken stock, or 875 mils of chicken stock. This is a litre. So I'm just going to put the whole thing in, to be honest. I might stop at a tiny little bit left. Done. Put that in the bin. So I've reduced the heat. I'm simmering for about 25 minutes until boil, until the rice is thickened, until there is no more chicken stock in the bowl, and it's just one hectic rice dish. Heckers. So we're going to uncovered. Don't put a lid on it. So we basically want that to simmer away for 25 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'll see you back in a second. Okay, so we've pretty much got most of the liquid dissolved. Our rice is all thicked up. Everything is looked like it's pretty good. We're starting to brown a little bit because all the moisture's getting hooked off. So I've turned it off. We're done. We're finished now. So I'm just stirring it in just to make sure that there's nothing stuck on the bottom. Now comes the best part, giving it a taste test. Make sure that the flavour is all there. The rice is cooked. Obviously, if the rice isn't cooked, you want to add a little bit more liquid in there just to make sure that it's all cooked. Let's go ahead and give it a taste test. Oh yeah, that is so good. Serving it up in a bowl. Taking it off the hot plate so it doesn't cook. And that is chicken and chorizo jambalaya. Bon appetit.